Have you ever seen someone that you should have recognized but you didn't? For some reason, you just couldn't place them at that particular moment. What about the other way around? Have you ever had someone look right at you and not recognize you, even though they should have? When Joseph brings his two sons to his father so that they can receive their blessings, Jacob asks who they are. Did he really not know who these two young men were that Joseph had brought to him so that they could be blessed? Or is there something going on here that we aren't seeing in a surface reading of the text? Please join me as we dig deeper into the scriptures together in this week's 5-Minute Torah. Welcome back, Torah Tribe. You're watching the channel that connects disciples of Yeshua to the eternal Torah of God. As a reminder, if you find this video valuable, please do me a favor, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends and family. This week's Torah portion is Vayechi, Genesis 47:28 through 50, verse 26. And here are the three things that you need to know about it. Number one, Ephraim and Manasseh. Every Friday night around the Shabbat table, fathers place their hands on the heads of their sons and bless them with the blessing, Yisimcha Elokim Ke'Ephraim v'Kimnasha. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. Many people know about Jacob crossing his hands when he blessed Ephraim and Manasseh, placing his right hand on Ephraim, the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh, the older. But not many people know that Jacob himself began this tradition of blessing one's sons like we do on Friday nights, when he told them, quote, "By you Israel will pronounce blessings, saying, God make you as Ephraim and Manasseh." This is Genesis 48:20. It's a tradition that we can all participate in, as it says, quote, "And his offspring shall become a multitude of nations." Genesis 48:19. Number two, blessing of the tribes. Each of the 12 sons of Jacob receive a blessing from their father from his deathbed. He speaks to each of them directly according to their need. For some, it sounds more like a curse than a blessing, but sometimes we need corrections so that we can steer away from the path we are on and head in the direction that will make us the person we are destined to become. Among the brothers, Judah and Joseph definitely received the lion's share of the blessings from their father. Through this, Judah is established as the kingly line with the statement, quote, "The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until tribute comes to him, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples." This is Genesis 49:10. And number three, the death of Jacob and Joseph. Jacob dies at the ripe old age of 147 and is mourned by all of Egypt for 70 days. Just as he had promised his father, Joseph returns his body to Canaan and buries him at the cave of Machpelah. Joseph went with a great entourage, including, quote, "all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his household, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's household. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen. It was a very great company." This is Genesis 50, verses 7 and 9. Joseph returned to Egypt and lived until he was 110 years old. Before he died, he made his own family swear to bury him in Canaan. But for whatever reason, his family doesn't take his body to Canaan. The last line of our Torah portion tells us, "So Joseph died, being 110 years old. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt." Genesis 50:26. I love books. As you can see, I have a wall of books behind me. If you search the internet, you can find books on any subject you can think of, except for one, discipleship. You may be thinking, wait a minute. There are tons of books out there on discipleship. Yes, there are many books available on how to make disciples. I just haven't found many that explain what it means to be a disciple of Rabbi Yeshua. This is why I wrote The 4 Responsibilities of a Disciple. Where most discipleship books work to answer the question, how can I make disciples? This book works to answer the question, how can I become a disciple in order to make disciples? I know what you're thinking, but everyone who believes in Yeshua is a disciple. Well, while that should be true, the fact of the matter is, it's not true. Over the centuries, since our Master walked the face of the earth, we've created billions of converts, but very few disciples. If you want to transition from being a convert or a fan of Yeshua to becoming a disciple of this man, then you should order your copy of The 4 Responsibilities of a Disciple and have your life transformed. Order today using the link in the description box below. This week's Torah commentary is called Who Are These? And comes from my book, 5-Minute Torah, Volume 3. When Jacob was 147 years old, he realized his life on this earth was coming to an end. He called Joseph to him and made him swear that when Jacob departed from this life, Joseph would not bury his body in Egypt, but take it back to Canaan and bury it there. Later, when Joseph understood the severity of his father's illness, he brought his 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, to his father so that he would bless them. Jacob tells Joseph, "And now your 2 sons, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt, are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, as Reuben and Simeon are. And the children that you fathered after them shall be yours. They shall be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance." This is Genesis 48, 5 and 6. However, when Joseph presents his sons to his father, Jacob acts as if he doesn't know them after being around them for the last 17 years. He asks Joseph, "Who are these?" in verse 8. Most people attribute Jacob's question of their identity to his eyesight because just 2 verses later, the Torah tells us, "Now the eyes of Israel were dim with age so that he could not see." However, the Torah offers a deeper answer, one that can help us see a beautiful picture of what Yeshua has done for us. Most English translations render Joseph's response as, "They are my sons whom God has given me here." However, the original Hebrew is slightly different and contains unusual wording. It says, "They are my sons whom God has given me with this." The Hebrew word there for "with this" is bazeh. Rashi takes note of this unusual wording and asks what this is referring to. According to him, Joseph is showing his father his ketubah, his marriage contract. At first, this seems a little absurd. Why would Joseph hold out his marriage contract in response to his father's question about his children? But if we think about it, this is the answer to the question that Jacob asks. Jacob knew Ephraim and Manasseh, so his question is not one of recognition, but one of identity. If we remember, Joseph had married Asenat, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. Joseph's marriage to an Egyptian, particularly the daughter of a pagan priest, would have undoubtedly been a concern for Jacob. Jacob most likely saw Ephraim and Manasseh as Gentiles and not as the heirs to Abraham's blessing and covenant. If Joseph showed Jacob his ketubah, however, his marriage contract, then Joseph would be saying that his wife was no longer the daughter of a pagan priest, but had given up her pagan identity for a new one. This allowed Jacob to see the true identity of his grandsons and the confidence to adopt them as his own. Therefore, Ephraim and Manasseh are considered to be the offspring of Abraham and heirs to the promises of Abraham, just as Joseph was. Yeshua does something similar for Gentiles who come to him. He told his disciples, "I have sheep that are not of this fold. I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd." John 10:16. Once we come to Yeshua and renounce our former identity, we take on a new identity. Yeshua's Father looks at us not as pagans, but as one of his own. The Apostle Paul was given divine revelation in this regard and developed a theology that was radical for his day. He said that Gentiles who have accepted Yeshua are grafted into the nourishing root of the olive tree of Israel, that they are fellow heirs, members of the same body, and partakers of the promise in Messiah Yeshua, and Abraham's offspring, heirs according to the promise. It doesn't mean that we become Jewish or even supplant Israel or supplant the Jewish people. It just means that we become a part of the family in some mystical way. If we are in Messiah, we have a place at the table, so to speak. We don't have to worry that our Father won't recognize us or claim us as his own. When the Father asks Yeshua, "Who are these?" he will identify us as his sons and daughters, children of Abraham and heirs to the promise. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, a great place to start is with my one-word series right here. And if you missed last week's video on finding hope when there's none in sight, you can check it out right here. I'll see you again soon with another Messianic insight into the eternal Torah of God. Blessings from Minute Torah.